We went to Florence as we continued with our celebrity cruises around Italy, France, and Spain. And we're going to talk about that today. What was our experience like? Was it worth it? Also, we're going to talk about the La Spezia port where we had our cruise ship at. So the first day, we were at the port of La Spezia, and we'll talk about that more later in the video, but we went to Florence. Now keep in mind this was something we were not aware of. We probably should have researched it more. But Florence is about a almost 2 hour and 15-minute drive from the port to Florence. So no, it's gonna be a long drive on an air-conditioned bus, which makes everything better. One of the first stops, and it was quite nice, we had a tour guide that was actually talking to us through most of the trip, for certainly the first hour, talking to us about the history of Florence, history of what we were seeing. So the trip itself was worth it in our opinion, even the drive, because she was talking about different historical marks you could see along the way. But the first stop that we did was a leathers kind of goods store, I would say. And if you're not aware, but Florence in Italy is known for leather, right? Leather and gold in particular for Florence. So the first stop was leather goods, and we did go in there. My daughter bought a purse, and my husband bought a real leather belt. If you're worried about getting the VAT tax back, they will give you the paperwork there, so you can get your tax back at the end of your trip if you'd like. Then after that, we probably got about 20 to 30 minutes there. There's also a bathroom stop there because it is a long trip. So if you're drinking coffee, that would be a place where you can use the restroom as well. Then we got to Florence, and our bus stopped at the St. Croce Square, which was actually a great spot to stop. There were bathrooms there, there was restaurants there was shopping. It was extremely walkable to the Duomo and other places you may want to see. Like we're talking like a 5-minute walk, very close, but it wasn't like in, I guess what they would call the busy part of Florence. When we stopped there, the first stop, and this was probably a little gimmicky, but it was also interesting, I'm not gonna lie. They brought us to, it's called the Gold Corner. And again, Florence is known for gold. So it was a store that sells, real gold. And honestly, very unique pieces. I wish I'd gotten some video of it, I didn't. But it was extremely expensive. And by expensive, I'm saying, anywhere from $4,000 to $20,000. So very expensive real jewelry, but if you have it in your budget or if you're budgeting for things now and you want very unique pieces, that would be something that you might want to consider. I'll probably consider it the next time. It wasn't in my budget for this time around, but there was some unique pieces enough that I'm like, okay, maybe in the future that'd be something I'd like. But keep in mind, it's a little gimmicky. If you want to skip it, you can, I think, and then just go do your own thing and have the meetup. Then we had the golf cart tour of Florence, and I would recommend this. We did a golf cart tour in Rome, and I'll link that video above as well, and we loved it, and this one was good too. It was only about an hour. I think you can get longer ones. Ours was an hour, and it was nice because we had a tour guide that took us around Florence City, so we could see the locations we wanted to go see while we were walking. He took pictures for us so we could get our pictures in front of the landmarks without having to ask people in a safe way. Don't ask a stranger to take your picture. They might take your phone. So we were able to get pictures. And then he was able to tell us some of the history, which was really, really nice. So I do recommend, if you're in Florence, do the golf cart tour because it was only about an hour and, in our opinion, highly worth it. Then we walked around Florence, and we had about a total of 3.5 hours in total in Florence for our particular excursion. So that, in our opinion, wasn't enough. If I had to give it a con, I would say I wish we had had more time. It is definitely a place we're gonna go back to. But when we were walking, first we went to the Duomo, and first of all, stunning on the outside. We did not go inside. I will list pricing for tickets. Buy your tickets ahead of time. There are very long lines. It is very busy. We knew ahead of time we weren't gonna have time to go inside. We also were kind of advised that the outside is much prettier than the inside, and that sometimes people are disappointed by the inside. On our next trip, we do plan to go inside, but we didn't for this one. Then we went to the Santa Maria del Fiore cathedrals. Now, the Duomo, and they're all in a centralized area. That's 4 buildings or 4 towers. And our tour guide in the golf cart kind of told us different features of those towers. So if you can do that, you'll get to kind of appreciate it more, I think. And then in that area as well, there's designer stores. So if you're looking for designer merchandise, you can get that there. It was packed. So be aware of pickpocketers. Again, we did not have any issues. We're just very aware, and just keep that in mind. There were people that were pickpocketing because it is such a busy area. There were lots of outside shopping, like little markets where you can get other leather goods and different things from Florence. We went to the Statue of David, or the replica. So there's the replica, and then there's the real one that requires, again, tickets and ahead of time to go in. We just chose to do the Statue of David replica. And again, probably some of our bucket lists that we really wanted to do, particularly my daughter, we wanted to do the wine windows. And we found 2 wine windows within walking distance of that area. They are €7 for a glass of wine if you bring the glass back. If you want to keep the glass, you can, and that'll cost you an extra €2. So keep that in mind from that. The wine itself, in our opinion, was about a 7 out of 10. The experience, though, was super fun, 9 out of 10. All of us did that, and we really enjoyed it. We went to 2 windows. The first one is Cantina dei Pucci, probably not pronouncing it right, restaurant and wine window. And then the second one was Bucetta del Vino wine window. And they both took, I mean, there was a little bit of a line, but no more than 5 minutes. So if you see a few people there, they're pretty quick, they're pretty efficient, very friendly. You will need euros, like I said, but very, very fun experience. Then we did things a little bit backwards. We actually got gelato before lunch. So my son, Jaden, actually researched that Vivioli is supposed to be the best gelato in Italy. And we had talked about, in our opinion, the best gelato in Europe for chocolate specifically was in Rome. And if the Rome video does talk about that. So we thought, well, let's try the best gelato, because you know us, we like this, our ice creams and our gelatos. And we thought it was honestly just okay. Probably gonna get in trouble for that one. There was a long line. It took about 15 minutes or so to get through the line. And it had other things there. So in our opinion, it was okay. I mean, it was good. We would give it probably a 7 out of 10, but we still feel like the chocolate at Rome and the lemon in Naples, in our opinion, was better. Then we went to the bridge, which is the Ponte Vecchio Bridge. And it's one of the most famous, oldest bridges in the world. Right now, they actually sell jewelry out of it, but history had said it was used for trade, for fish. And again, one of the oldest bridges still standing, for lack of a better word, in the world. Then we were ready for lunch, and we were told by our tour guide that there was a really close place by the S. Croce Square, which is where we were meeting back up at with our bus tour. And it was called Berbier Pizzeria. And of course, we had to order the Diavola pizza, which is the American pepperoni pizza. And we would give it about a 7 out of 10. It was okay. It was a family-owned business, so it really was a cute little place. But the pizza was okay. We'd give it a 7 out of 10.
This is 2-year age Parmesan.
And it's got tomato sauce and Parmesan. You didn't get any of the Parmesan.
This side, eat this side. You're good on that side.
Then we took the drive back from the bus, got back on our bus, and took the drive back to the port. The next day, then, we were able to spend some time at the La Spezia port, which is where our cruise ship was. And just so you know, there is no walking on the pier allowed at all. Celebrity Cruises did have a free shuttle that would take you from the cruise ship to right outside the port. And it was maybe a 7-minute drive or so, not long at all, 5 to 7 minutes. But you cannot walk on the ports. You do have to take that shuttle. So then you can walk outside the pier, and it had, different shops and boutiques and things. And my daughter and I did some shopping. We actually found some hand-sewn clothes that were made in Italy that were really extremely reasonably priced. That was owned by a family. So we enjoyed that. And then if you do want to go to a mall, then they do have a mall that was about a 15-minute walk. We walked it and kind of walked around it just to kind of see where it was at while we were walking. So it definitely is walking distance, about 15 minutes. So if you're looking for more things that you may need for your cruise or other things, you can get those along that strip at La Spezia's port. So then we went back to the cruise ship and enjoyed the rest of our cruise. And next we're going to be talking about, we went to France, Santa Margherita, Portofino, and Rapallo, which are considered the 3 pearls of paradise for Italy. and we'll be talking soon about that next. If you found this helpful at all, please give me a like and subscribe. It really helps move my channel forward.